Hello, I'm Dr. Alan Gruning, and welcome to your Prescription for Health. Hello, I'm Dr. Alan Gruning, and welcome to your Prescription for Health. I am so excited that you're here to join us today. This is show number 5. We've had such a wonderful time being able to put this show on the air. I am so excited about all the calls I've been receiving at my office and at the station here from viewers saying that this has been a huge blessing to them. And just a little bit of background, I'm a holistic physician practicing in Fort Myers and in Port Charlotte. And I take care of very complicated people with fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, autoimmune disorders, hormone imbalances, just very complicated things. And along the way, I've learned how to treat those disorders naturally, using nutrition and supplements and lifestyle changes. Well, I'm going to try to impart all that information to you guys over the course of the weeks that we're going to be together, months that we're going to be together. And also, we're going to have dynamic interviews on this show, one of which is today. We're also going to have demonstrations. There's going to be a lot of neat things that are going to happen here. So tune in every week. Tell everybody you know to watch our show. And please go to our website. I've spent an enormous amount of time working on this website called Prescription for Health, which is on your screen right now. It's got a lot of interesting information on it about me, about our ministries, about our free medical clinic, which is sponsoring this show, Christian Health Ministries, and about links that you can get to watch our old shows, which are now going to be archived on YouTube, and links to other organizations that are very beneficial for your health. So that's a little bit of background. Our first show, we mostly talked about, our second show rather, we mostly talked about the problems that we're facing here in America, the health crisis that we have. And on our third show, we started to talk a little bit about solutions to that, and mostly about nutrition, and how we are what we eat, and how we have to change those things in order to get healthy in this country. Our fourth show, we had a great interview with Tom and Donna Paul about Shoppe, the only healthy chocolate. And today we're having an interview with a good friend of mine, Wayne Wallace. And Wayne Wallace is the pharmacist who owns and operates Medicine Shoppe up in Port Charlotte. So Wayne, welcome to our show. It's so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
It's just wonderful. I've known you for years. Wayne's been a blessing in my life, and he's taught me a lot about bioidentical hormones and other things that we're going to be talking about here today on the show. But I guess I want to get started with Wayne. Just give us a little bit of your background and how you got into pharmacy in the first place.
Actually, I started when I was in high school. I was a delivery boy.
Is that right?
Yeah, I remember my first salary was $2.25 an hour.
Oh, so. My goodness, that's a long time ago, Wayne.
Plus tips, plus tips.
Plus tips, okay.
But I saw the guys back there, and I thought I liked the setting on the job, and I wanted to be medical oriented. So I went ahead and went to school at University of Florida.
University of Florida.
Yeah, graduated.
And how long is pharmacy school?
Back then it was 5 years, now it's 6.
Okay, so it's a long process to become a pharmacist. This isn't just some overnight thing that you have to do.
No.
And you receive a certification somewhere along the line, so you are a registered pharmacist.
Right, you take the test to become registered.
Right. So how long have you been in Medicine Shoppe? How did that all come about?
Well, we were living in, my family, we were living in Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, and we had a 1-year-old. And we decided we didn't want to raise our family in that urban environment, so we moved over here. The opportunity came with Medicine Shoppe. It's a franchise. And we moved over here and just kind of get together. And we've been here for 27 years. 27
years in the same location, in Port Charlotte.
Charlie has tried to change that.
Well, Charlie was a little interruption in everything that we were trying to do.
Charlie, he tried to change that, but we were persevered.
I know that your store was severely damaged,
yes,
and the store, as was my office, was destroyed. But God was good to us and helped us rebuild all that, and we're back in business. And so you've been at the same location basically now for 27 years. So tell me a little bit about what it's like to have your own business, your own pharmacy, and what makes Medicine Shoppe different than every other pharmacy.
Well, I think if you've gone in a larger poly pharmacies is what I call them, where they have everything in the world in the store. You know that when you go into a specialized shop like mine, that you're going to be treated individually. And that's what the big thing is that you're a person. That you're treated like a person, and we try to take care of everybody like they're part of our family.
So you actually know most of the people that come in your pharmacy.
Yes, we do.
You know them by name, you know everything about, you know their life. That doesn't happen in these big mega pharmacies.
I have a lady that came to my grand opening. She's 104 years old right now.
Oh my goodness.
And she's been coming in there for 27 years.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is, very.
And so you know a lot about people, and I know that because of that personal contact you have with people, you're able to detect problems that occur with them sooner than someone who doesn't know them at all.
Yeah, well, you get to know their personalities, and they come in and they're acting differently. Something's going on. They've had a new drug added. It could be the drug, it could be just something happened in the family. But it's one thing you can keep an eye on and say, what's going on, you know? And ask them questions and maybe, you know, flag something, talk to the doctor.
And so you do act as a consultant for the physician. I know that you'll call me many times and say, Alan, you know, I see something going on here with the person or the medicines, and we need to relook at this. And I appreciate that, because doctors can't do everything. We need help from people, and the pharmacist is a critical link of that. I don't get that from big chain pharmacies. They're very rarely calling me saying anything.
Well, they're pretty much under the gun with all the stuff they have to do there, and they're filling prescriptions. They're not really talking to their customers as much as they probably should be.
Yeah. So one of the things I know that's important for me as a physician is to make sure that my patients wind up at a pharmacy where, yes, people are watching out for them, but are also coordinating all of these medicines that they're taking, because one of the biggest problems we're dealing with today in medicine is people going to multiple pharmacies, and they've got a prescription from this doctor here and another doctor there, and maybe they're going to the VA and they have something there, and so all these people are giving them prescriptions and nobody knows what the other person is doing, and there's the potential for huge drug interactions. And so how can you prevent that?
It's tough in this day and age, especially with mail-order pharmacies and the mandates from the insurance companies that they have to go to mail order. The only thing that we can do is get a complete list of their drugs on file, and that way we know what they're taking. But a lot of people are, you know, they don't keep you updated on what they're taking. It's a lot more difficult today than it used to be.
I imagine it is,
Yes.
yeah. And so it's very important to try to have all of your prescriptions at one location if you can, so that the pharmacist can then keep track of all that and alert you when there's a potential drug interaction, because as you and I know, drug interactions are commonplace.
Very common, very common.
I'm assuming that you're seeing that a fair amount.
We see it, we catch drug interactions. We call a physician. If something comes up, it shows up on our computer. Most pharmacies today have a computer-driven type of interaction module in their computer.
Okay.
So that it flags them, and you can warn the physician, and then this physician can make the choice whether or not to continue with the therapy or, you know, or to change it to something else.
And that's really critically important for most doctors, because there's so many medications being prescribed, and we don't necessarily know the potential side effects and interactions of every single one of those medicines. So having a program that will help you to figure all that out, having a pharmacist watching the patient, is really critical to get that kind of feedback. So tell me a little bit about Medicine Shoppe. I know you have a wonderful staff there, and they're very friendly, and they kind of know all the patients, and it's kind of like the old small-town pharmacy atmosphere.
Yeah, at the counter.
Now you don't have a soda machine, though.
No soda machine. You know, I've been asked to get one in there, but I've refrained from that. And no phone, no check card thing. No, you know, it's just a pharmacy. But my staff have been there with me for years. We've lost one recently, unfortunately, but. She passed away on us. And,
I know, and that was very sad. She had been with you for a long time.
Yeah, but the staff stays, you know, we're like a family. We up and down together. So
tell me how, in this day and age of mega pharmacies that a small pharmacy, an independent pharmacy sort of like yours, how can you survive and keep your prices low, competing against all these other big chains?
Well, when you're a franchise, you're a group, just like a chain of pharmacy is a group of pharmacies. So that we have the buying power of a group, but we have the smallness to take care of individual people individually.
Okay.
So that's where the buying power comes in.
I noticed that your prices at Medicine Shop tend to be lower than I can find at almost anywhere else. Now, I'm assuming that at a lot of pharmacies there's markups on these things, and so you're apparently not taking as much markup as a lot of these other places are.
We mark up, we have to make a living.
Right.
Or I wouldn't, 27 years wouldn't have come and gone. I'd have been, I'd have been gone a long time ago. No store with a low gross profit is going to survive. There's not a lot made on prescription drugs anymore with the advent of the government coming in with the Medicare law. So we've gone on, and we're doing other things now that are a little bit more profitable for us.
Okay.
Such as compounding.
And we're going to get to that in the second part of the show, because I really want to spend some time talking about what compounding is, why you're a compounding pharmacy, because that's rare. Not a lot of people are doing that. This whole idea, though, of being competitive in the marketplace and being able to help people afford their prescriptions, and we know that some big chains do $4 prescription plans and you know, kind of lure people in with those things and then zap them with some of the other prices that they have. But I know that you have that same kind of plan.
I actually had that plan before.
You had it before those people had it.
Pre the Marts had that $4 prescription. I had one in place for generics, and I'm having to say probably about a year and a half before that.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't have the advertising clout of the big chains. Anyhow, we were able to save people money and have a nice market. Now we have chains that are giving free prescriptions away on some antibiotics and stuff. And when you get down to it, those items are really low-priced items. People come in with their Medicare card, they might be spending 50 cents to $1.50 of their copay, but the doctors are sending them to these free places. That's one of my big bugaboos, is that we're just talking about having all your prescriptions filled in one place for interactions. Well, if a doctor tells them to go get a free prescription somewhere, that kind of, you know, counteracts what's going on. So
it makes it difficult.
Yeah,
it makes it
especially
difficult.
when the price is not that much. So
right. So most of the generic prescriptions are really inexpensive. It's the brand name prescriptions that people get really stuck on, and I deal with this with my patients all the time, where they're having to spend hundreds of dollars a month on these brand name prescription drugs when there may be something that's a generic that's almost as good, and that's one of our jobs as a doctor and a pharmacist, to try to lead people towards something that may be equivalent, but that, you know, may be just as good, almost as good, but not nearly as expensive.
Exactly.
Well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to be taking a break here in a second to go to our commercials, and I really want you to pay attention to our sponsors and to support them for supporting this show and helping me get on the air. Wayne is one of those sponsors. So we'll take a break and then we'll be right back.